All right, guys, today we are going to be talking about this. And more specifically, what we need on this to be able to get this. Let's go. So as you guys know, I 100% believe that drivers should be paid detention, and I do not work with customers that do not pay driver detention when it's owed. However, I've been having a little bit of a problem. I say I've been having, it's one instance, okay? But I want to make an example out of it. I had a project going on. Basically, we're doing like 28 trucks, and one truck didn't get the in and out time signed or put on their paperwork, and they say, oh, well, the shippers don't like doing that. He never asked for it. So we already know on this project there was going to be detention, and out of 28 trucks, half of them probably got detention because they were there more than 2 hours, and only one did not get it, even though he was probably there more than 2 hours, because he didn't get the in and out times posted on the BOL. So let's talk about the BOL and what needs to be on here for us as brokers to be able to bill for that detention. Now, before we even get into that, because I don't want to seem like there's responsibility shifting from the brokers if the customer doesn't pay. The broker is still responsible and liable for your detention to you, even if the customer doesn't pay. However, it is your job to get the in and out time signed, to get them documented, notated, and signed so that the broker can then get reimbursed for those fees, the detention fees. If you don't do that, then you're leaving the broker out to dry, right? And if you don't do that, then I as a broker am not going to pay a driver who doesn't do that part of the job. That is necessary. Working with a carrier should not cost a broker money. It should make the broker money, right? We're all here to make money. And you guys as drivers, you understand that as well. I had that one instance. I'll never work with this carrier again. I actually ended up paying him anyway. I paid him. I knew they were there. However, if he would have just done his job, then I wouldn't have actually taken a loss on that load. I'm not going to talk about all that. This is part of, a rant, and the reason why I'm making this video is because of that. But what we can learn from it is much greater. And so let's talk about this document. All right, so when we look at this document, the first thing you're going to notice is that obviously a lot of it has been blacked out, right? Redacted. So any kind of customer information or something like that's taken off, because I'm not trying to teach you in this video what a BOL is or what needs to be on a BOL. All this is supposed to do is tell you what you need to make sure you do as a driver, or if you're a broker, what you need to make sure that you tell your drivers to do is to get the in and out times signed and notated. Now, what's really important here is that the shipper, not the driver, but the shipper signs the in and out times. I have seen a lot of in and out times where the driver actually signs them, and that does nothing. The whole point of the in and out times being signed and notated to begin with is so that we're not taking the driver's word for when they checked in, right? No offense to you guys, some drivers, but you have to know that not every single person, not every single broker, not every single carrier, driver, person just is honest, right? Across the board, not everybody's honest. And so this is what the companies need. This is what the customer needs, especially in this case where the customer is not the shipper or the receiver. They can't just say, hey, let me go out there and ask Al when you checked in and when you checked out. That's what the times are for. Get the times notated and signed by the shipper if the detention's at the shipper. If it's at the receiver, then get it at the receiver. So as you can see over here on the receiver, the driver's only there for an hour and 17 minutes. There's not going to be any detention on this. Everything else is done right. This all looks really good. And I can go ahead, pay the carrier, and then submit this to being reimbursed. All right, so back to this recent mishap that I had with the driver. They used an excuse, and the problem with this excuse is that it's a real issue today, where sometimes the shipper or the receiver doesn't want to sign in and out times. Now, in this case, they didn't even notate them down. The driver didn't put them down and ask for it to be signed. And I know this for a fact because, again, out of 28 trucks, probably 14 of them had to request detention, and only one of them didn't get it because they didn't get the times notated and signed. But what do I do if I do deserve the detention, but the shipper or the receiver refuses to sign the in and out times? If the shipper just says, hey, here's the times, I see them, the driver wrote them down, but I'm not signing that, I'm not going to do that, then the driver needs to call you immediately and tell you the shipper's not doing this. And then you need to get on the phone with your customer and say, hey, the driver checked in at this time, he's just now leaving, he put the times down, but the person who unloaded him is refusing to sign the in and out times. I just need to know from you real quick, are we going to be okay with this? Can we charge this? And get that up front, because if they're getting told right now, they can make a call if they need to talk to whoever was there loading or unloading and just verify the times that the driver was actually there. But in no circumstance should the driver leave before talking to the broker if the shipper or receiver is refusing to sign those times. Brokers have the responsibility to pay you if you do your job. Part of your job is to get these times notated and signed.